Hello super friends and welcome to DC TV Talk. This is the show where we talk all things Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow and Black Lightning. And in today's video we're going to be discussing a bit more of a fan topic that is just guessing and there is no logic or no evidence going into this video. This is just a pure fun video where I'm going to be discussing what Team Arrow is going to look like going into Season 7, because based on what's going on in Season 6 in terms of having the original Team Arrow and the new Team Arrow, with different members interchanging, it seems like we are going to be getting a very different look at Team Arrow when it comes to Season 7. So that's what I'm here to discuss today. Is this too early to make this video? Yeah, probably, but hey ho, let's have some fun. So the first person to discuss has got to be, obviously, Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, played by Stephen Amell. Now, this is obviously a given, of course he's going to be there, he is the main character of this show, he's the big man, he's the one who's the centre of this entire TV universe. Without Oliver Queen, this show would not exist. So yeah, this isn't really much to talk about. Obviously, Green Arrow, he's always going to be in this show for as far as it goes on, you know, at least the way it seems. So yeah, obviously, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, got to be on this team no matter what. Now, Diggle, played by David Ramsey. This is a very interesting one in my opinion because I have a theory that perhaps Diggle is going to die this season. Richard Dragon, who is of course the main villain of Season 6 from this point onwards, has a very strong connection to John Diggle due to that storyline that went on earlier on with him taking the drugs supplied by Ricardo Diaz to fix his arm. And because of this connection, and we've seen them fight before, obviously in episode 13, Diggle and Ricardo Diaz had a one-on-one fight, which was a pretty awesome scene. I feel like he's going to be in the target of Ricardo Diaz. I feel that is what is going to be going on here. When Ricardo Diaz is looking to perhaps really hurt Oliver or really looking to just take something away from him, Diggle is obviously his closest friend, his closest confidant. He's been the one who's been by his side for 6 years. I don't see why he would go for anyone else other than Diggle. So if Diggle does make it through, then obviously he will be in Season 7 on Team Arrow as Spartan. However, if he does not, I feel like this may be the last season we see Diggle. And that is a very upsetting thing, but he's such a great character, and that would be such an impactful death. If they wanted to do a real death that would shock everyone on the show, like they did with Laurel in Season 4, then I feel Diggle is probably the best person to go with. Now, another given is Felicity Smoak. Felicity will never be gone off the show. Obviously, it's quite funny the way her character has transitioned. She started off as just appearing in one episode, and due to fans liking her so much, they kept her around. And now she's a series regular, she's in every single season, she's such a huge part of the show, she's a main character, obviously she's Oliver's wife now, she's technically Oliver's stepmom, so it's a very, William's stepmother, sorry, and that is just that's kind of like a safe place, you know, she's gonna stay there for as long as Oliver's around. I think Felicity's gonna be around. If they're gonna kill Felicity, I think they have to do it in the final season, whatever that season is. I feel like that's the person you kill if you're gonna do that. But for now, I think Felicity is very, very safe, and obviously she has such a strong fan base and such a big following. Even though she does have a lot of hates as well, I feel her fan base, her passionate fan base, are very, very strong and very much, you know, they make themselves aware, so I don't think Felicity is going anywhere. So they are the main three out the way. That's the original Team Arrow, but let's discuss new Team Arrow, which is of course Renee Ramirez, Dinah Drake, and Curtis Holt. So starting off with Curtis is always the one, even though he's been going against original Team Arrow along with Renee and Dinah, he has always kind of been the redeemable one. He's more just like, yeah, I kind of agree with what they're doing, but, you know, I'm still kind of on your side. Curtis, I believe, is here till the end. I do believe he's in for the long haul. I just feel like his character, although I feel he's completely expendable, I think they probably could have killed him in the Leon Yu explosion. I feel like his character is just one of them who's going to stick around for a long time, just because he has got quite a strong fan base too. Everyone seems to like him because he's just a nice guy, and Echo Kellum is really nice in real life too. The only thing is just, I thought before episode 14 of this season, I thought, yeah, he's completely redeemable, but what he did in episode 14 in terms of hacking Diggle's arm, so it went back to the state it was in, I feel that was a very harsh move on Curtis's part, and this now is kind of like the turning point where Curtis is perhaps not redeemable anymore. But speaking of not being redeemable, Renee Ramirez. This character has been such a roller coaster of a character ever since he was introduced onto the show in Season 5 as a new recruit. When he first joined, was a character I really did not like. I thought he was just a cliche, he was very annoying, didn't have any respect for Oliver whatsoever, and he was just a grunt. But then, as the season went on, he obviously went through a character arc, and he was doing really well, and I really liked him eventually. And I think he was a really great character, but now in Season 6, they put him back to the exact same place he was in, and we're back to square one. And this guy is just not redeemable anymore. I cannot see how, after all this storyline is resolved, I can't see how Oliver is ever going to accept him back onto Team Arrow. I mean, he's so repulsive and he's so arrogant that he's just one of those characters who Oliver's never really liked him that much anyway, but to be like, oh yeah, I'll take you back, he just won't. It's not going to happen. And, you know, obviously now, in episode 14, Oliver and Renee went toe to toe, and Oliver absolutely beat him to hell. And now, you find out that Oliver actually almost killed him in that fight, and Renee's now in hospital, and Renee's kind of off the show for a little while now, it seems. I just can't see him coming back. And, Renee, he's just not redeemable in terms of what he's done to Oliver. I mean, in episode 9, when you find out he was the one who kind of betrayed him, you kind of saw where he was coming from, because obviously he did it for his daughter. And I was kind of on Renee's side with that a little bit, because obviously Oliver was so angry at him, even though Oliver would have done the exact same thing in his position. I feel that, Renee, he's just gone too far now, and he even shot Felicity in episode 14, which I felt like they kind of glossed over that. But, if that goes deeper, Oliver is really going to probably go and kill him at this point. Renee, he's gone too far, he's crossed the line. I can't see him coming back anymore. I think the same also goes for Dinah Drake, which I feel bad for Juliana Harkavy, because she is so good in this role, and I really like the Dinah character, or at least I did. I thought she was really well done. I think she was really well written. The way she was introduced onto the show, she was kind of like a vigilante criminal because she was on a vengeance quest, and then Oliver kind of showed her the way to be like, no, this is what we should be doing. And then she became the new Black Canary, and I thought that was a really good arc. But then obviously in season 6 they reintroduced Vigilante, who they then revealed to be Dinah's ex-partner, which is the whole reason why she went on the vengeance quest. And then obviously in episode 12, I think it was where Black Siren actually killed Vince, and that is what set Dinah on this vengeance quest against Black Siren. And this is just where Dinah's character loses all merits, because she just becomes this self-obsessed, she's all she cares about is killing Laurel. And she becomes so cheesy, like, when she says to Oliver, I'm gonna kill every single one of them, starting with Laurel, it's like, it was very on the nose. And I feel again, Dinah, she's just gone too far now. She almost killed Black Siren last episode, until Curtis had to step in. And I just feel again, she's not redeemable at this point, and I can't see Oliver being willing to accept her. She full on had a fight with Diggle. She almost took Diggle out. I can't see why Oliver would ever accept her back. Now, this is an interesting point, because obviously Black Siren in the last episode had some developments, and this could be the deciding factor on whether Dinah actually returns to the original Team Arrow. Black Siren at the end of last episode, as we know, ran away after just escaping Dinah, and goes up to that random truck driver guy and says her name is Laurel Lance. She says this. Now, obviously, Black Siren, in terms of her Earth 2 version, she more or less, she is Laurel Lance, but she didn't necessarily go by Laurel Lance. She was more Black Siren or Dinah. But this is where we actually see she's taking up the Earth 1 Laurel persona by calling herself Laurel Lance. And what's really interesting is she said, I was kidnapped for 2 years. And our Earth 1 Laurel has been dead for 2 years, so that kind of lines up. So this could be that she is going to re-emerge as our new Black Canary and going to be joining Team Arrow, because obviously she's going to go down this redemption arc. I made a video on that a while back. Black Siren, she's going on the redemption arc. This could mean she's coming back to Team Arrow and replacing Dinah as the new Black Canary, and kind of being Laurel's ultimate replacement by getting us basically another Laurel. And I'm perfectly happy with this, and if she is coming back and coming as a member of Team Arrow full-time, Dinah is completely out of the window. There are a couple of other characters to mention though, such as Roy Harper, who of course is coming back next week in episode 15, Doppelganger. As much as I'd love it to be true, he's just not coming back to Team Arrow full-time. He never will. Colton Haynes, I think he's just left Arrow now. I think he's kind of done with it. He's obviously willing to come back time to time, but I feel he's never going to come back as Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, full-time. He's got other stuff going on. Obviously he's doing some other acting work now outside of Arrow. Obviously he was on American Horror Story earlier last year, so I just don't see him being there. as much as I want him to, you know, Roy Harper's probably one of my favourite Arrow characters ever. I would love to see him on there, but I just can't see it happening. The same applies for Thea Queen. I feel Thea, obviously, she has been around on the show since season 1. She was a vigilante as Speedy in season 4, and then she's kind of cropped up. You know, she was in the season 5 premiere, she was in the crossover, things like that, and she's actually going to be in next episode too as Speedy. But again, I can't see her sticking around. It seems like Thea Queen's actually leaving the show. It seems like Willa Holland is leaving, based on some Instagram and Twitter stuff that we've seen based around her. And my theory is that at the end of episode 16 or 17, depending on what Roy Harper's arc is, I feel Roy is going to leave the show permanently, and then Thea is going to leave with him. Because Thea, let's face it, has had no good stories in season 3. That's why they simply made her Speedy in season 4, just to give her something to do. Season 5, she was completely useless. Season 6, she's been useless, so it's just kind of like, you know, where's she going to go? Kind of just get rid of her, really, because they've got nothing else to do with her. So I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to make Roy leave and then have Thea go with her, unless Thea dies in this next couple of weeks, which I hope isn't true. You know, Roy and Thea are one of the best Arrowverse couples. I feel like they just need the happy ending, and hopefully they'll get that. So them two, I just can't see them ever coming back. This one is a complete stab in the dark, but I'm going to have a go anyway. Rory Regan, aka Ragman, another one of my favourite Arrow characters. I think he was so underused, he was so underutilised as a character. He has so much potential, but obviously they wrote him off the show because he was completely overpowered for Arrow, which I understand, but I would love to see him come back. But again, as much as I'd love that to happen, it just won't. Will we actually ever see him again? I hope so, but that seems unlikely at this point. I feel like it's just too big of a story to just keep dangling and not go back to, because we need to go back to Haven Rock. That was meant to happen in season 5 and it didn't. We need that episode. Just give me at least one more episode where we close off Rory's arc and I'll be fine. And the final one, this may not happen in season 7, but I feel that this could happen at some point in Arrow if it continues past season 7, which is probably unlikely. But if The Legends of Tomorrow ever ends as a show, then Sarah Lance, I feel, would definitely come back to Arrow, at least as a recurring character. Maybe not as a series regular, but as a recurring character. But if she did come back as a regular, I feel she would definitely come back to Team Arrow. She fits so well in that show. The relationship between her and Oliver is fantastic. I just feel like that is the perfect opportunity to bring Sarah back into Arrow if Legends ends. I mean, as far as Legends goes on, Sarah will be there. She's kind of the main character of that show now. But if that ever goes away, she's got Arrow. So who would you guys like to see as the members of Team Arrow in Season 7? Let me know in the comment section down below your picks. I feel this is a very personal thing, obviously. It's just all the characters you like and what have you. So I feel Team Arrow is going to look very different going into Season 7. Obviously, you're going to have the mainstays like Oliver and Felicity. Diggle, I feel, is hanging in the wind. I feel if he survives this season, obviously he'll be there, but I feel he may not. Dinah and Renee, I think, are gone, just because, like I said, they're not redeemable at this point. Curtis, I reckon, will come back around, and then maybe we'll get a new member, or maybe a couple of characters will come back, which, because there are some spots there open if Dinah and Renee are gone. So, tell me what you guys think, and who would you like to see in Season 7. So, thank you guys for watching this episode of DC TV Talk. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, it will help me out a lot, and share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Black Lightning. And with all that said, I hope to see you guys again in my next video.